Welcome back to me versus myself. Sorry, this is like the second time I filmed this intro because it kind of messed up the first time, and the mic was like making a beeping sound. So it was just like, yeah, let's restart that. Welcome back to episode 56 of me versus myself. Wow, crazy. First off, before we get started, I want to thank you guys for 44 subscribers, which 44 is like one of my favorite. I guess you can say it's my lucky number. Jesus G44. If you know, you know. That's just been my thing for so long. 44 subscribers is fucking cool. Also, one thing, all right, not to like ask you guys for like likes and stuff, but okay, to my viewers, supporters, friends, and listeners, uh, I'd really appreciate it if like if you would guys could like and comment on the video, strictly because like it it pushes the videos out more. So like the more engagement I have, like the more like like the YouTube machine, the YouTube algorithm sees that people are enjoying it. So it's like, oh, like let's push it out more. And just a little way you guys could support me. I don't I'm not trying to force you guys to do anything. Like if you guys don't want to, you guys don't have to. It's just, voluntarily. If you'd like to support and help out, I'd really appreciate that. But also it's okay if you guys don't and you guys just listen. This is just the fact that you guys are listening is enough. But it would really help out the channel if you guys were to like, comment, and subscribe and just interact a little bit more than just. But other than that, thank you so much for 44 subscribers. This is me versus myself, episode 56. If you're new here, I know I start episodes like this because, well, I'm trying to reach new people. So I'm going to say this every episode until it's very established that, like, oh, okay, this is what me versus myself is. So that's a work in progress. So me versus myself is the space where I'm vulnerable, where I'm able to just talk and be free and think, like, have my own little chamber of reflection where it's like I talk and explain things that I'm dealing with, explain things that I'm talking about, that I want, that I feel, and just certain views and certain perspectives on certain things about my life and certain things about what's going on in the world. Also, me versus myself is the podcast that's almost a year old too. In about a month it'll be a year old, and it's crazy to see how it's grown, and it's crazy to see how much has changed and how much has happened within my life. So today I don't really know what I want to say, but I feel like since like having so it's like how I post once a week, podcast every Monday or Wednesday. um and I feel like so much goes on, so it's like so much kind of builds up in my head. And it's like I can't wait to talk to them, and I can't wait to let them know what's going on. And I think what I want to talk about is more of my truth, more of like why I am the way I am, or necessarily why certain things happened a certain way, and like how I've accepted those things and how I'm like okay with the fact that those things happened. Um, for example, yesterday I was talking to a friend, and we were just kind of having a conversation, catching up. And we were talking and discussing certain we were talking about. So we were just talking about like where have we been, like what's been going on, like how have I been doing, how have they been doing, and I got to talk about certain things that were on my mind for so long, kind of like certain things about like my old relationship and how I kind of got to explain my opinion and a lot my view on those things that have happened and did happen. And like I felt so good to just get all of that out. So I really okay. So without saying any names, without saying anything like specifically, one of the things I noticed in my past relationship, I was always willing to like give up stuff and change and be that person for that person. And not that I didn't get that feeling back, but a lot of times I felt like I was giving more than she was, or I was trying harder than she was. And not to like discredit anything that she was doing, because honestly, we experienced everything. And it's like not even talking bad about her. This is just explaining, I guess, what happened. This is in no way bashing her, in no way like me coming at her and like dissing her. It's not any of that. I love that person, and I still love that girl. And it's just different now. And well, like, okay, so like when you break up with someone or you guys break up, you guys are kind of like, oh, like we'll be friends, and like, yeah, you guys are friends, but also it's a little weird, also because it's kind of like there's a little bit of like tension, but not really. It's just kind of like weird because it's like, well, like we're never really homies like that, so it's kind of weird to be friends all of a sudden. And I understand that, and it's cool, and I respect it, and it's like I understand, like I said, but also, so like recently, I felt like I had been trying to preserve that friendship more than maybe she was. And not that she, like it's not that she has to be my friend, or not that we have to be friends. That's just what I've like come to realize. It was just more like, I was very like, I was trying to like always like hit her up like occasionally, like let her know, like I just ask how she was doing, like just either like send a Snapchat just so we can talk, or like have some form of communication. But then I started to realize that like she doesn't seem to be so like interested necessarily. Like she doesn't really seem to care. And well, like part of me was just like, well, like it's like I guess I'm trying to be like not even nice, because it's like I'm doing this for my own sake, like my own, like I want to be her friend genuinely. But I just realized I was like, well, she doesn't really care. Like doesn't seem like she cares right now, and doesn't really, doesn't isn't really putting in that effort of like, sorry, doesn't really care, or isn't hasn't been putting in that effort to like be friends. So it's kind of like, okay, like unfortunately, there's not much I can do. It's like I can stay here and like kind of chase her around, but also I realized that part of me still seeks a lot of validation from her, like just like when we were dating. So it's kind of like not super healthy for me to constantly trying to like have her attention, or like constantly trying to make her, I guess, come to me. And not even like, because okay, one thing I've also understood is like we just don't work out like that. And it took a long time to let go of the feeling of like, oh, maybe we'll get back together, or like maybe it can work in the future. But just seeing it and saying it how it is, it's like we see the world very differently. Like she has her own beliefs, and I have my own beliefs. And a lot of time during the relationship, it was my beliefs versus her beliefs, or her belief versus my beliefs. And that doesn't really work. It's not sustainable, because at one point you're both just putting up with each other strictly because we love each other and we like care about each other. But also like at our core and at our roots, like we're different. And like we were different. It's like I knew we were different, she knew that we were different. But we would always try to make it work. We'd always try to like make ends meet. And we would try, it was just like be happy. And like, it's like I felt like I was always willing to just like accept her beliefs. And it was just kind of like, I don't necessarily, like, it was never me imposing my beliefs on her. It was just like I respected her beliefs, and I understood that those things made her her. But also when it came to my beliefs, I don't think I got that same treatment, because it was like part of me always felt like I had to be a different way for her to meet her agenda, to like, have that validation from her that like I'm good enough. And there was a point, and for the longest time, I'd feel like not enough. I'd feel insecure about myself, because it would be like I'm not the person she wants to be with right now. And she never told me that's not, but there was things she'd expect from me or want from me that I do to like make me a different person, or make me a different way. It was like whether she didn't want me smoking, or whether she didn't want me like getting high, like not that it's like a bad thing. It's just like, it's like it was just sometimes it was just like I'm not, it's like there's nothing wrong with it right now. It's like I'm literally at home, like, and it was just little things like that. That was just like okay, but it was just okay. Like I'll do it less, and I would meet that. I would meet those standards. I'd meet what she wanted, and I'd do what she'd wanted. And it was like I feel like there was times where I'd ask her to do stuff, and not to discredit anything that she did, honestly, but there was times where she's like, "Oh, I have to work on that." And I mean, maybe she was working on it, and maybe she did work on it, and maybe she was actually trying to work on it. But sometimes it felt like it was like, okay, like you're working on it, but it doesn't really feel like there's any progress. But I don't want to tell you that it doesn't feel like there's progress, because like what if you're working really hard to make progress, and like for me to just say like you're not making any progress, it's kind of just belittling her. And I didn't want to be rude, because like maybe she was trying, and she was trying, because there was some sort of change, but also it was just like when it came to me changing certain things, it would be kind of instant, or like if I didn't meet the standard she wanted me to, she would be mad. And it was just kind of like I don't, like I don't feel like it's a bad thing necessarily. And the only reason you feel like it's a bad thing is because of your beliefs, because at one point those things weren't bad. It's like we would get baked and we'd smoke and it was cool. Like we were vibing, like it was just fine. But then like certain things changed with her. She got closer to her church, which is, it's like not a big deal for it was just like, okay, like that's what you want to do. Okay, go for it. But her beliefs on all of that started to change. And a lot of like who she used to be like wasn't anymore, because it was just like, well, she's, giving herself to God, or I don't know, I don't know how that relationship works or how that process works, because that's just not for me, but I respected it. And it was just like, okay, like, like you don't want to do it anymore. You don't want to necessarily, she'd be like, I don't want it around me. And I'd be like, I mean, okay, like I won't do it around you, I guess. But like even then, there's sometimes like I'd be at school and like I'd get baked with the homies, and it'd just be like, I'm fucking, like I literally have no work to do. Like we're just kicking it in this class. Like why not? Like, or like there'd be times where like I'd feel like, like even more affectionate just while being like high, and just be like I'd feel like, I guess like if you know those feelings, you understand a little bit deeper. Um, but it's just like a feeling of like peace and like just wanting to love and give. And it's just like, well, she would be like, well, why can't you feel that without it? But it was like, I feel that with that. I feel, I've always been like super lovey, and I've always been super like, like I want attention 24/7. So it's like literally like I give attention 24/7. Like I guess I can say I'm kind of clingy. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of am a little bit, a little bit. But so it was just like, it's not that I don't feel these things when I'm like not high. It's just like when I feel these things, it's like times 10. And I want to show you, I want to tell you, but it would just, I'd end up feeling guilty, because it was like, well, that's not what she wants. And she just wanted it around her. That's not who she wants me to be. And I'd always tell her, like, the person you want is here. Like, it's like, this is like now, like the person you've been waiting for. I remember one time, bro, like, and this is like kind of sad for me, because I think back and it was like, I was fucking so hurt and so broken and so like, literally crying. It was just like I was like fucking basically begging her, but not really begging her. But it was just okay. So there was this time. Well, okay, so she wasn't a fan of psychedelics or me using psychedelics because of her belief. So it was just wrong for her. It was just wrong to her. And well, I just agreed to not do it after I did it the first time, because she was mad about it. And I, even though I had a very positive experience, and like the depression I felt like 2 years ago, I overcame it because of this, and I'm fucking like 100% sure. I'm like 99% sure it's because of this experience of like acid the first time, and literally just like feeling a super overwhelming feeling of just being so grounded and so happy. But literally the day after, like I felt so shitty, because like she was ignoring me, she wasn't talking to me, and was just upset that I chose to do that, because like in her eyes, like that was just a bad thing. And well, like, it was just like, okay, like, I won't do it again. But then I started learning about it more. I started researching. I started listening to podcasts. I started listening to Joe Rogan a lot more. So, like, I understood that this was a medicine and not necessarily something to just like trip out or whatever. Because the first time I took it, I didn't really know what it was. It was just kind of like, oh, like, fuck it. See what happens, like, oh, well, I have a tab. Okay, my cousin was like, I have a tab. And I was like, fuck it, fuck it. Okay, we did it. And then it was so cool. It was fun. It was a really good experience. But then after researching it and like learning, I was like, wow, there's healing benefits to it. Like, it cures depression. It can, enhance your life. It can just show you different perspectives of your life. And it was just like, wow, like to me, it was just like, because I was learning about it after experiencing it. So it's like after I learned about it, I could be like, wow, like that experience was helpful, because like obviously like I learned the healing properties of it, and like I could see that I had been healed about certain things, and like was got over certain problems I was dealing with. So it was just like, to me, it was like, wow, this things work. This actually works, and this is like a positive thing. But it wasn't the case for her. Like it was just like, no matter how I explained it, no matter how like what facts I gave her and what opinion, like what I just give valid points. So it's like, it's not about me drugging myself. It's about me like diving deeper into my own consciousness, and like just choosing to just dive a little deeper. It's just I want to I want to experience a little bit more of my brain power and just see how my brain communicates in this unique way, because that's what, acid and shrooms allow you to do. So, it was just like for like a year I didn't do it, and like I was learning about it, and I would be like, fuck, I want to do it, like I want to do it again. And like I contemplated it, and it was just like, I want to do it, it's like I don't see anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not hurting my brain. It's not leaving anything fucking, it's like doesn't it's not bad for you. And it was just no, like that's just not the way it's gonna go. And well, it didn't go that way. But one day I just was like, fuck it, like we had a tab, we took the tab, we took like a 0.3 of shrooms, and I had like a mini ego death that day. That day was like it was just, I remember it was a very healing spirit, like, and spiritual like experience within like my brother, my cousin, and like literally like it was like a fucking therapy session that all of us really needed. Like it was just in our own individual way. Like we all were just talking about our problems and talking about certain things, and like at a point where it was like we were all crying, and crying in like the after, like like when you have so much built up and you just let it go and you're just crying, and after you're just like, wow, like that therapeutic like feeling. That's what we got. And literally the next day, I felt so guilty because it was like, fuck, I did it behind her back. She's gonna be pissed. Like, I just felt guilty because it was like, well, I told her I wouldn't do it. But then it was like, well, I had a fucking really good experience about it. So it's like, I feel so grounded also. Like, but it was like, I needed her validation always. Like, it was like, I needed her validation. I needed to be what she wanted me to be. So I remember, like, that next day at school, I felt so shitty. This is in college already. So I felt so shitty. And like, I remember I skipped class and like, I met her at like after her class. And like, we went to her car and we were talking, and like I remember like that day she saw me and I was just like, I'm sorry, and it's just like kind of begging her to forgive me. And like I remember telling her like, like I promise this is the person you've been waiting for, because like at the time like I had felt like very relieved, so it was just like I felt relieved and I felt good. But like it was just, I felt so guilty, and then she was mad, and like I remember just crying and like kind of just like basically begging her. Really, it was just like, I'm sorry, like it's not gonna happen again. Like I'm not gonna do it again. Like I'm gonna change and blah 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 blah. Because it was like I wanted to be her, I wanted her approval of who I was, right? And it was like, wow, dude. Like I don't know why like at the time it's cool, like it's whatever happened. But I look back and it's like, why would I make I would feel guilty. I'd feel so insecure about myself. I'd always seek her validation. I'd always want to hear her like validate me. And like back to like, now that like we're kind of like not talking so much anymore, because I've seen that she doesn't really care that much anymore to be like my friend. It's kind of like, okay, like I understand. And like, like whether we are friends later on or we're not, like I just think, and I'm like, wow, like I would do so much and like change so much, act so different certain times. Like I'd be at church acting different, like around her friends. She'd be so different around friends. Like literally, like she probably like sometimes like wouldn't introduce me as her boyfriend. She would just kind of go, just be like fucking weird. It was just like I knew she was looking out for her own like sake, and how she cared about how other people looked at her, I guess. Like the people at her church, like the people that she was with, like I feel like she cared about how they saw her. So like her being with her boyfriend or holding hands and stuff like that was not good, I guess. But those things hurt, they would hurt. It would just be like, I can't hold your hand. It's like, what? And I mean, she wasn't necessarily super affectionate compared to like me. And I think that's like a disconnect of like within both of us. It was just like, I need constant reassurance or constant attention, constant like affection. And like her being not so affectionate, it was just like it was just a complicated like, there was like it was hard to find a balance for both of us. And well, being able to just talk about all of that yesterday and like say so much more in detail, like there's somebody who understood, like, you know, like a friend that knew me, who seen my relationship, who saw me in my relationship, talked to me like during my relationship, like you know, just an old friend. And like, I don't know that she understood completely, but it was just like, you know, this is everything that happened and what how I feel about everything that happened, and it was just my side of it. And after, I felt so good because it was like, you know, like wow, like, you know, I noticed that I still seek her validation and I still seek her attention in a way that's just like I need to, like I don't feel enough even now. But it's like, well, like we're not even dating, we're not anything, we're not, you know, we're not anything, like we're not, you know, if we're friends, we're friends, and if we're not friends, I understand. It's like, right, we're not friends. And I keep telling myself, it's like we see the world so differently. Like we see the world super differently, and that's also a thing that like I constantly remind myself that's like it won't work strictly because like we just see the world so differently. And now looking back, it's like a lot of the things I guess were expected of me were for me to become different or for me to change. And I'm just kind of happy that I guess I realized all of those things. And like now it's kind of like, you know, it's like I can't be that person and I'm not gonna be that person. And it's like I want to be with somebody who, you know, doesn't make me feel like I have to be someone different. And nothing against her, again, like nothing against her, like everything we experienced was like perfect. But also, like, you know, there were some things that was just like lacking. And it's like I don't want to have to deal with insecurities again or like stuff like that. And I know it's like my own control, like I'm in control of how I experience and how I deal with those things. But like there were times that like my feelings would be hurt strictly because, or like I'd fucking just fold to please her, or to, you know, like act a certain way or to be a certain way and not do this at this certain time and respect what she wanted. And like I'd meet all those standards, and there'd be times where I'd ask for some change and like I didn't ask, like, you know, it didn't feel like she was really working on it, but she'd say she would be working on it, and I'd be like, I can't tell you like to work on it harder because it's like whatever you're like trying on, you know, what if you're like trying your best and like me can be like, can you try harder? It's like that's fucked up. But it was just like also it's just like, yo, like I need a little bit more, but I don't know how to ask for more. And it was just like I just continually go back to like just meeting her needs and like being there for her and being the person she wanted me to be. But there was a time where I was just like, well, you know, like I'm not who you want me to be. Like I'm not the one you want for yourself. Because also in that religion, the way they go about dating and like marrying and stuff, it's very fast. It's very fast. Like a lot of the couples and like people I met there, like literally within like a year they were like engaged. And not that, you know, time doesn't fucking matter. I don't think time really matters like that. But I kind of think about it, it's like how much of that is just comfort. It's like, okay, we've been dating for a year and like we're so happy and like we're so perfect or whatever that let's just fucking get married. Because they're like, well, like you found the one, like why wait? And that makes sense too. Like also, but it's also like, you know, it's like fucking like I don't know. Maybe it's just my view of it's a little different. But it was just, you know, it's like within a year, like they're ready to like fucking get married, and like that's not a bad thing. But also, it's like, well, like, you know, it's like if we're like vibing and like let's say that we don't have to be married, like, but we can still live together. Like, you know, like I don't think I have to live. I don't have to be married with someone to live with a partner. Because it's like, well, we're just living, like we're just experiencing, and like we vibe. It's like I'm not gonna fucking wait until we're married to see how we really are. You know, it's like if we're, I guess ideally I'd like that for me. You know, it's like I can get my own place. You can come live with me if you'd like. And you know, later on when we want to get married, we can. It's like there's no rush. So it's like if we get married in a year or 5 years, like we're still, you know, it's like we're still working on being together. It's not like we're just dating to just date. It's like we're working towards like being a very effective team. But also, I just thought it was just like, wow, like, I mean, maybe those people are happy. I'm not anyone to judge those kinds of people either, because like maybe their relationships are very happy because they have the same beliefs. Like they love each other, like the love is real, and well, like they believe the same thing, so it's kind of like that also holds them together. But it was just like, well, that's not fucking me. Like that's not who I am, and that's not who I'm gonna be. And it took a while for me to realize that it's just like I'm not that. And unfortunately, we see the world differently. But it's like I think there's more for me. And I mean, I know there's more for me. It's like I know there's someone out there that I won't have to question myself, or I won't have to like question whether or not I'm enough, or I won't have to question whether or not the person I am is the person you want to be with, right? Because it's just like, it's like if I'm so different, and like the way you want me to be is just so different from me, like that's not who I am. It's like I couldn't even joke about fucking weed, or like stuff like that too, because it would just I mean, I'd still crack jokes, I'd still fucking do it, because it's like I'm fucking, it's just like, oh, like little things like that it just wouldn't slide, because it was just like, oh, it's weed and it's not good, and that's not what's, it's like unattractive. And but then there was times where she'd be like, so it was a period of time where like we didn't smoke together, and like it was just like whatever, it was just okay, like I'm gonna just do my own thing, It's like I kept doing my own thing, and like there was the limit or whatever, so I'd meet the limit. And I remember out of nowhere, like one time she would just be like, can we smoke? And I'd be like, like for real, like, or just like, what, like, like for real, are you serious? Like, yeah. And we do it, and they'd be like, okay, like, this is cool, this is fun, this is awesome, this is nice. I feel like that's so cool, like having someone to just experience those feelings with is just awesome. It's like getting baked with, imagine like your girlfriend, like it's just like, wow, that's so fucking cool. And I just admire all those couples that like smoke together, and like, cause I just know that they're just vibing, and it's like we're fucking best friends, like we're baked, like happy, we're fucking dating, like that just seems so nice to me. Such a nice concept, right? So like we do it occasionally, like we it was a time where it was like we would occasionally do it more often than like we had been in like a year. Or she's like, do you have a pen? And like I do it, and like we but it was just like, well, how do you feel about it? Because it was just like, well, it was unattractive, it's not what you wanted, it's not what you wanted to be around, and blah 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 blah. But then she'd come around and like ask me to do it sometimes, and it'd be like what? And Millie snoring. Sorry, you guys have to deal with Millie snoring. I need to sneeze too. I've been trying to sneeze for like the past 5. Bless you, Jesus. Comment bless you if you made it this far. But there's a lot of me that. Dang, I need to sneeze again. There was a lot of me that would sacrifice for her desires, her wants, and her needs. And like as a boyfriend, like, I didn't mind. But also like there got to a point where it's like I kind of did mind, because it's like, well, I'm not fucking doing anything wrong. Like I'm not doing anything like it just felt like I wasn't doing anything wrong, and that's just what I believed, and that she believed something else. So it'd be kind of like our beliefs clashing against each other, and like it wasn't necessarily like the best, or like the just long term. It just doesn't work like that, Long term, it's not just like put up with shit you don't like strictly because we love each other. It's like I didn't want her to just put up with the way I chose to live my life strictly because we love each other. And that's like where the comfort comes into, like it's like I don't want to like feel like I'm not enough. It's like I don't want to feel like I'm not meeting your or that I have to meet a standard in general. Because like I shouldn't have to meet a standard. Like you don't have to do that for anybody. And I've learned that it's like I value myself a lot more. Because at the time it would just be like, okay, like make you happy, like I'll do it for you, like I'll do what you want me to do. And it's like it's like whatever, it's like it's not a fucking big deal. Sorry, Millie's sleeping. Snoring. Millie, Mama, it's okay, baby. How do you stop a her from snoring? Should I put her on the mic? Here. ASMR of her snoring. She's so cute, man. I love this movie. I love bulldogs so much. Like, I think I'm gonna have a bulldog when I'm older again. Like, that's gonna be like the dog I have at my house, a bulldog. I'm not crying, dog. I swear. It's just my nose is kind of runny right now after sneezing. I don't have any tissues either, so I kind of have to deal with it. But yeah, that felt really good. Just saying that right now, also too, because it's like, you know, not only did I get it out yesterday, but also I got it out right now. And it's like the more I just say those things, it's like the more I, you know, the more the more I say these feelings, the easier it gets to like overcome them, because it's like they're not in my head always anymore. It's like they're out there in a little bit. And regardless if you know, like if you listen to it like that, this just helps me in so many ways. Like it helps me just be and feel so much better all the time, because it's like I don't know, man. I guess just having an outlet to be able to express myself and just say whatever I have to say. I'm not really worried about what's gonna come back to me. It's like feels so good. It's like if I was talking to myself out loud, and I mean I am talking to myself out loud. Literally, it's only me and Millie in the room. It is me versus myself. Do you see how it's red today? Did you guys notice that, or like did you guys just notice it? But, and also one thing, part of me felt weird for maybe being attracted to other people, because I felt like I was holding on to the feeling of like, well, maybe what if we get back together, and what if we get back together, you know, like why, you know, like I just didn't want to be like, oh, I was, you know, getting attention from somebody else, and it's like, oh, you want to get back together, like we get back together, like that's just, you know, it wouldn't work. Or I guess, you know, there'd be a sense of like trust issue there, because it'd just be like, well, like, you know, it's like, I guess it's like I wanted it to be like, okay, if we get back together, I didn't talk to anybody like that because I was just focused on you. And like I was focused on her for a while. Like it was just like, you know, like I'm gonna get better for myself, get better for us, and do a bunch of stuff and get better for, you know, just for both of us. But I think about it now, and it's like, I mean, yeah, I'm working on myself because there's a lot of things that I need to fix internally. But it's like I'm not working on myself for anybody. I'm not working on, you know, it's like I don't need to be validating myself through somebody else. And I noticed that, like, no, like, no matter how maybe it would have worked or how happy it was, how perfect it seemed, I should never have to validate myself to, you know, based on anybody else's standards. And I've learned that, and I'm so glad that moving forward, I take that into consideration. And not like I'm in the rush to like get into another relationship, but I do miss the companionship of somebody. I do miss having a friend that I can just talk to, having someone that will motivate me, that will try to, you know, help me improve, that will move me forward. Just, you know, like we can move each other forward. I want that. You know, like I kind of want it like really bad, just to be able to experience that with somebody again. Because I feel like I've processed so many of the hurt feelings and so many of the holes that I had within myself that were causing problems in the relationship. I feel like I've grown and like understood those things, and I've accepted that it's like we see the world differently. Like it's just, that's the fucking bottom line. We see the world differently, and it won't work the way it was working back then. Because there was part of me was just like, well, am I just gonna put up with just meeting her standards? But also it just got to a point where it's like, nah, dude, I can't do that. I can't just acquiesce to her what she wants all the time, because then I'm not happy. But now it's like, you know, like the next person I fucking date, like one, I'm not gonna rush it. Two, I understand how I love and how I want to be loved. So like I've learned a lot as far as like how to make somebody happy and how to be happy with somebody, and I've just even then like being single has also taught me independence, which that was one thing I really lacked. It was just I was so self-dependent on her, and so like just I was so reliant on her, and so reliant on her to make me feel good, so reliant on her to validate me, and like now stepping away from all of these feelings and overcoming them. It's just like I know that the next person I date like won't make me feel this. Like I won't allow myself to go through that and feel those things again. Because there was things that I did that weren't like cool. It's like I fully accept and admit that there was some things and fucking mistakes that I made that were just like stupid mistakes. But regardless, like I did them, and I was like whether I was like aware or not. I mean whether I was like trying to do something or not, like I was aware, like I was doing. I made those mistakes consciously and like not like it was just it was me. Like, there's no way around that. It was just those were my mistakes, and there's nobody to blame but me. But it was like like fuck, man. I wish. Not even that I wish, but it's just I've learned so much from this past relationship. That's like I want to like the next person I get to like have or share something like that with. I don't want to fuck up, and I know how to not make it. I know how not to fuck up. And I mean at the end of the day it's like I learned from the person that maybe wasn't the one. So it's like when I meet this next one, I meet the one or whatever, I'll know so much more about how I want to be in a relationship with somebody. And for part of me it was just like kind of reluctant to like maybe like talk to other girls or like seek attention maybe, because it was like, well, what if we get back together? But we're not gonna get back together, bro. Like I don't it just doesn't work the way it was working back then. And it's kind of bittersweet, but also it's like, well, like what can I fucking do about it? It's like, what can we do? Nothing. So like I'm not sure, man. It's not much we can do, right? But just live and you learn. You live and you learn, man. I don't even know what I'm thinking about, bro. It's just kind of like bittersweet because it was good. It was fun. It was everything. It was a really good experience, but at the end of the day, it's like I don't think it works necessarily all that good. And it's okay that I'm accepting it. It's just like Jesus, like it's okay. You don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to. You don't have to validate yourself or seek that validation from anyone anymore, because it's like I'm enough and I'm complete, and I am the person that I am, and it's perfectly right for me to be all that I am and all that I'm not. And it's like I want somebody that appreciates me for that, and understands that like I'm the way I am, and there's things about me that maybe they don't like, but regardless that makes me me. In the same way, it's like there might be some things that I don't like in somebody that at the end of the day makes them them. So it's like I'm not gonna take that away from you or judge you for that. So it's not like your fault. I mean, that's just the way you are, and like we vibe and we can accept those things from each other, like we're on our way. So sorry, I think that's a good place to end it today. I really want to blow my nose because it's getting more stuffy and more stuffy. But I feel like I said everything I wanted to say today. Yeah. Again, please, my viewers. Sorry, this is kind of more of an emo episode, to be honest. Oh shit. A little bit more emo than usual, but this is good. This is me this is me being honest with myself, being honest with you guys too, because it's like this is my truth. This is what happened. This is what made me me. This is what's made me me. And you know, whether it was good or bad, like this is my truth, so I have to own it. So it's, you know, it's okay. Whatever's happened happened. It's not anybody's fault. It just happened. It wasn't in it. We know we couldn't control it, and it is what it is. Like, there's nothing wrong with the way it went down. It just happened, and it had to happen that way. And it's okay. I've learned a lot. She probably learned a lot, I hope. And, you know, moving forward, it's like, well, I have to do what makes me happy. And I'm going to find someone that makes me happy like that and doesn't make me, you know, feel that. Because, I don't know, there are some girls that I'm low-key sipping over, but... Look, I got like 2 crushes, but one crush is like... I mean, maybe they're both unattainable, but one, I feel like one of them is just like not as, like, you know, she has a man, so it's like, not gonna, like, home wreck, but... And it's like the chances of me, you know, like doing that and like going through and like, it's just no fucking point, you know. But there's just another girl that I've kind of been thinking about a lot, to be honest. To be honest, I have been thinking about this person, and I might hit her up in like a month or so, maybe, and see what's up. Maybe she's down to hang out. But also, like, we're in a pandemic, so like, who fucking knows, you know? But my birthday's in a month. It's it's August too, bro. It's August, so 1 month sober done. 1 month and 3 days done of no THC. Feel good. I've been craving it a little bit more, to be honest. Like, I have been. I know that. I have been craving that feeling. Sorry, man. But I need to get down to 155 before I can do that. And I haven't weighed myself, but I'm dieting and fasting again. So it's like the first couple of days, you know how it is. It's just kind of like I'm falling asleep as it is. It's fucking. I'm kind of sleepy. Because I've been sleeping, you know, I've made it a little bit of a habit to like take a nap. But I'm not gonna nap today, cause damn, bro, my voice is cracking. I'm not gonna nap today because yesterday I slept late and I woke up late and I didn't go work out. I mean, I worked out at my house either way, but I usually go to the park and work out and do my boxing class. But I didn't today because I woke up late because I slept late and I was tired. I mean, regardless, I'm still glad that I worked out at home, and I still did something productive. So that's nice. But thank you so much for listening. I have been feeling really good about just being sober though. Like it's been very like calming and very clear. Like I've been clear-minded for like a month, you know. And I learned a lot already so far, and I think back and it's like, wow, I did like, you know, when I did Sober October. I learned a lot from Sober October, just about my use and the way I wanted to do it and what I wanted from it. And now it's like I still have another month before it's like I can say, oh, this is everything I learned, you know. And I'm looking forward to making that video of like, you know, a recap of like, okay, like 75 days, no THC. Here's what I learned. Because for my birthday, I'm best believe I'm a spark up. And also this shawty that this girl that I'm trying to hit up, she smokes too. So like, let's go out and eat, maybe head to a park and like spark up or something. I mean, this is what I'm saying. But this is manifesting. But we're manifesting this shawty into my life. Here, I'm about to light the incense just for her. I don't have my lighter. Oh, yeah, I do. We're gonna light an incense. In ceremony of this new shawty coming into my life, and just happiness, you know, like me not having to validate myself and me understanding that everything that happened to me happened, and it is what it is. Can you guys see that? Oh, it's not lit good. ASMR lighter flick. Low-key fucking burning myself because of fucking fan. Got the incense going, bro. Alright, like the incense is going. See the smoke. We're fucking manifesting today, okay? Y'all manifest for me too, okay? Just be like, I hope Jesus finds his lady. Cause I know she's out there, bro. And I don't know, I feel I'm kind of taking this girl and I'm kind of thinking about her a lot, so. We'll see what's up. And it's like, it's not even like we're gonna date, it's like we're just gonna go out, like, to see what's up, just talk and connect with somebody new. I mean, I met her before, like, we've talked before, so it's not even like we're like strangers. But we're kind of strange. It's been a while since we talked, and, we're gonna link up. It's manifestations 101. Thank you so much, though. You guys mean the fucking world to me. 44 subscribers on YouTube. I got about like a good solid 5 listeners on Anchor. The audio didn't fucking record, bro. What's new? What's new, Anchor, bro? Anchor, I fucking Anchor, you fucking Anchor's, bro. Me and Anchor have beef, bro, for real. I think I'm gonna stop recording my shit on here and just upload it like on the side, cause, bro, it literally stopped recording at 29 minutes and 50 seconds. So it's been like 16 minutes without recording. I've just been holding the fucking mic and it's so stupid. It's a little annoying. It's a little annoying when it just happens like that, cause it's like, bro, like what? But fuck, man. Okay, oh well, it is what it is. Thank you so much for listening to me versus myself. I don't even have to talk into this anymore, do I? I mean, there's really no point. I appreciate everybody so much. 44 subscribers. We're almost at 50, which is cool. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Again, it helps the channel get pushed out more by the YouTube machine. So please. Please. It mean the world to me. Bro, what if this was a J, bro? No, just kidding. No, it's the incense. Oh, cool. That one but a heart for y'all. Oh, shit. I can't. You're watching Disney Channel, bro. Okay, thank you so much. Again, thank you so much for listening. Me versus Myself podcast. Good. You like my shirt? It's pretty sick. Embroidered. Vintage. Duh. Okay. Goodbye.